Back again with another YouTube video. It's your boy Uriah G. Today we're gonna react to 10 moves banned by WWE. Let's get right into the video. We have an ad to start off.
It when they're banned from doing something. Trust me, I'd love to go for a swim at the local pool again, but it's just not going to happen after the incident. No, being told you can't do that is no fun, and it's something everyone is going to be faced with at some point in their lives. WWE stars are no different, as there have been points in time where certain individuals have been told they can't do certain moves, while in other instances there have been sweeping orders placed on other moves for the benefit of everyone in the locker room. I'm Adam Pachisi from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are 10 moves WWE banned. Join us. Number 10, pile drivers. Pile drivers are simple moves in theory, but the margin for error is so slim that something that should be easy to execute can have catastrophic consequences if it's done incorrectly. One need only look back at SummerSlam 1997.
Yep, Owen Hart giving Stone Cold the pile driver, which paralyzed and ended his career, right? So yeah, correct me if I'm wrong.
Where Owen Hart, reputedly one of the best workers in the world at the time, dropped Steve Austin on his head with a sit-out version of the Tombstone pile driver. Stone Cold was seriously injured due to the mishap and only narrowly avoided paralysis, though he couldn't avoid the neck fusion surgery he would have to undergo a couple of years later. It was incidents such as this one, plus a bunch of other superstars going under the knife for fusion surgery, that convinced WWE to ban the pile driver and its various variations, save for a few wrestlers such as The Undertaker.
I'll be right back. Alright, we're back.
Shawn Michaels, that Vince McMahon trusted to do the move safely every time. Ken Kennedy has since spoken about the telling off he received from McMahon when Taker directed him to perform a pile driver on him during one of their bouts, while CM Punk had his then boss ready to blow a gasket after he busted one out on John Cena during their classic on the February 25th, 2013 edition of Monday Night Raw. Number 9, German suplexes. Similar to
German suplex, oh, maybe because they fall on their neck. Maybe that's why.
the pile driver, WWE opted to eliminate German suplexes as well as other tricky variations like the overhead belly-to-belly at some point in the early 2000s. The reasons were again related to members of the roster going down with major neck injuries, along with one or two ugly landings that were considered
Yep, I was right.
close calls. As with the pile driver, however, there were exceptions when it came to a few who were still permitted to do them. Because suplex experts like Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit and Brock Lesnar were given the green light to keep suplexing as they wished. McMahon knew that the trio was safe with how they landed people and trusted them not to injure anyone with an errant throw. The Olympic hero has noted that he was personally very grateful for being an exception since suplexes amounted to a high percentage of his offensive arsenal. In recent years, Mick Foley of all people has advocated for toning down the use of German suplexes, if not outright banning them, claiming that they shorten careers and ruin quality of life for people who consistently take them. Number 8, the shooting star press and 450 splash. There were several scary situations when it came to WWE stars performing the
This botch where he still won the match, but he didn't land it right.
shooting star press and 450 splash in the early to mid-2000s. Brock Lesnar famously poleaxed himself and was lucky to walk away after coming up short in the WrestleMania 19 main event, while Chavo Guerrero was knocked out for several minutes when Billy Kidman's knee struck him in the temple during a match on the August 26, 2004 edition of SmackDown. WWE didn't ban the SSP then, but in fact wrote the Kidman incident into a storyline. However, when Juventud Guerrero botched his 450 splash on Paul London on the July 14th, 2005 episode of SmackDown, McMahon said enough is enough, damn it, and outlawed not only the 450 but the shooting star as well. Ironically, despite having his face caved in, London actually pleaded with his boss in an attempt to get him to change his mind, since he had performed both moves seamlessly in the past. McMahon was unmoved, however, and not only kept the ban in place, but actually punished London for daring to argue with him by having Paul drop the Cruiserweight title to Nunzio on Velocity. It was only several years later that WWE okayed the likes of Evan Bourne and Justin Gabriel to bring the moves out of the mothballs. Number 7. Chops. No, seriously. While knife-edge chops certainly sting the chest of the person on the receiving end of them, nobody ever suffered a serious injury from taking one, as far as I know anyway. There was no fear of a risk to the wrestler's health when WWE decided to outlaw them sometime in the late 2000s. While a report surfaced in the summer of 2010 that WWE had banned the strikes, theorizing that WWE didn't want their fans to go woo now that Ric Flair was in TNA, it turned out that chops had been on the banned list for a while by that
I did not know that the chops were banned.
point. After those reports surfaced, former WWE referee Jimmy Korderas revealed that chops had in fact been banned for years, with only Flair and Shawn Michaels allowed to use them. Korderas further stated there would sometimes be no chops signs posted in the gorilla position to remind wrestlers not to slap chests during matches. A decade later, former ECW whipping boy Colin Delaney confirmed that management had specifically told the
Colin Delaney, man. He lost all them ECW matches.
locker room not to use chops in 2008, with only the Heartbreak Kid getting to use them after he had old yelled Flair at WrestleMania 24. Number 6, the Vertebreaker. Shane Helms really started to make a name for himself in the dying days of WCW, breaking away from boy band stable 3 count while using his patented Vertebreaker to bag the promotion's cruiserweight strap. It was an incredible move that certainly looked capable of ending any match, but Helms himself knew that it wasn't going to fly when he joined WWE following WCW's demise. Though he did use it on a couple of occasions, Sugar Shane...
Yeah, I remember the last video we checked out. It's the Hurricane coming through.
who had since found even more success as hapless superhero the Hurricane, was told by WWE management that he wasn't allowed to hit the move anymore. Considering the company was putting the kibosh on pile drivers and German suplexes around that same time, it was hardly surprising that they would do the same for the Vertebreaker. Helms later confirmed the banning, noting that the edict came directly from Vince McMahon himself. He didn't try to save the move either, since he didn't really need it and understood where the concern about neck injuries was coming from, even if he did think the move was easy to take as long as the person on the receiving end tucked their chin properly. Number 5, the Wings of Love. Former WWE Divas champion Michelle McCool was known for using a move where her opponent would definitely need to not tuck their chin while taking it. The Faithbreaker was of course a version of the Styles Clash, and although nobody got injured when McCool was delivering the move, the phenomenal one had been involved in numerous incidents where the receiver forgot the golden rule and ended up getting spiked on their necks, which led to McMahon initially not letting Styles use the move when he joined WWE. What's interesting about Michelle choosing to use the Faithbreaker is that it wasn't by choice. According to the woman herself, McCool was told to stop using the Wings of Love, a version of the Angel's Wings, a move popularized by another TNA standout, Christopher Daniels, because it was quote-unquote too...
Yeah, I'm familiar with that move, not the one that he's mainly talking about.
devastating for a so-called diva to use. Michelle wasn't happy with having the move taken away from her, and especially for the reason that she was given, but she got on with it and made the Faithbreaker her own. A decade later, Mandy Rose took the double underhook sit-out facebuster and used it as a finish.
I didn't even pay attention that Mandy Rose had the Mandy, the character, you know, her gimmick or the wrestler. Where has she been, the wrestler, Mandy? Don't know.
Finisher, dubbing it the Bed of Roses. Number 4, the Muscle Buster.
That attire looks nice too.
And used it as a finisher.
The colors.
Dubbing it the Bed of Roses. Number 4, the Muscle Buster. Samoa Joe had a long and a
Oh, the Muscle Buster. Oh, man. What is this? When she did the move to Tyson Kidd, and was it main event? It was like 2015 or something. Let's see.
Illustrious career on the independent scene in TNA and overseas before he made the move to WWE in 2015. During that time, the Samoan submission machine's weapon of choice was the Muscle Buster, an incredibly impactful move that was...
I actually like the move, but it does look dangerous, especially depending on who he's doing the move to, because depending on the person's weight, someone like the guy that he's picking up, that will crush that person. So let's just continue.
Sort of like a cross between a suplex and a pile driver. Joe had delivered the move countless times in the past.
Tyson Kidd. I mean, some wrestlers, actually, all wrestlers can take moves, but see, it depends on how you structure and do it. I'm not saying it's all based on the weight, but sometimes it is the weight, like, and then sometimes it just depends on how you do the move to the wrestler, because if you don't do the move correctly, it's not gonna end well.
Without issue, but everything changed when he competed against Tyson Kidd in a dark match. Joe was going over and used the Muscle Buster to win. As he was celebrating, however, it quickly became apparent that all was not well with his opponent. It turned out that Kidd had actually suffered damage to his neck and spine that would have killed a normal man. Luckily, he survived and was able to have a second career as a backstage producer, but his bumping days were well and truly over. So too were Joe's days of using the finisher.
Good in-ring talent, and that move led to his career ending. I mean, he said, I guess, he works in the company, I guess, in a different role, just not wrestling. I guess that's what he said.
Or at least when he got called up from NXT to the main roster, as he began using the far safer Coquina Clutch instead. Number 3, chair shots to the head. At a certain point...
Gee, this one, I know about this one too. Chair shots to the head, banned. You barely see that anymore. You just don't see them. And sometimes they blink it out. It'll cut to a different camera angle when it wasn't banned, I think.
In time, taking a full force unprotected chair shot to the head was simply the done thing, and the wrestlers themselves saw it as something of a badge of honor. However, in a post-Benoit world where we now know a lot more about the dangers of concussions and the effects of CTE, having big muscle-bound men swinging steel at each other's noggins just isn't gonna fly, is it? Nowadays, WWE stars will only dish out chair shots to the stomach or back of their opponents. The pop might not be as big, but retaining cognitive function is certainly better than momentarily hearing the sound of cheers, isn't it? Despite being the most tenured locker room leader and Vince McMahon's son-in-law, The Undertaker and Triple H were levied with a hefty fine when they ignored the ban at...
I'm back.
WrestleMania 27. Put simply, WWE getting rid of unprotected chair shots to the head was undoubtedly the correct decision in order to safeguard the long-term health of talent. Number 2, the curb stomp.
The curb stomp, I already knew it. Dolph Ziggler, because that, when he did the move to Dolph Ziggler, I think that had, gave him an injury. And they had banned it for a while, and then they brung it back.
Seth Rollins must have thought he was onto a winner when he started using the curb stomp as a finishing move. After all, it was a move that was easy to execute, looked deadly, and could be hit on anyone from multiple setups, while also being easy to counter in cool ways. It checked pretty much all the boxes that a WWE finisher should, but despite using it to bag his first WWE title at WrestleMania 31, the Architect was soon informed that he would have to find something different from then on. According to Rollins, Vince McMahon decided to ban the curb stomp because he felt it looked too violent. Now that Seth was WWE champion, he didn't want clips of him stomping people's heads into the mat to be replayed in the media for fear that children might try to copy it. Rollins didn't agree with McMahon's logic and pushed back, but the decision was final. In the aftermath, Seth started using the pedigree, which made sense since he was a heel member of the Authority under the tutelage of Triple H at the time. Sometime later, he was allowed to use the curb stomp once again, though its name was tweaked to simply the Stomp. Number 1, the punt kick. With third-generation instincts and a delivery that's smoother than
It makes sense for the punt kick to be at number 1. Because you're kicking someone in their head, and it's like kicking a football, right? That's just not good, man. But let's see.
ilk, Randy Orton is generally considered one of the safest wrestlers on the WWE roster. You will never see the Viper do anything or take anything that he's not 100% sure about, and his repertoire is predominantly made up of moves that carry with them very little risk. But back when evil villain Orton was terrorizing the roster in the late 2000s, one move he performed carried with it significant risk. The punt kick saw Randy run up and, well, kick his foe hard in the side of the head while they were lying prone on their hands and knees. Now, there was a way to work it, but with the lights on bright and the cameras rolling, Orton was typically instructed to lay it in and make sure that it looked good on TV. Well, it looked a little too good when he delivered one on Vince McMahon, who suffered a concussion after Randy hoofed him full force in the dome. After the boss himself had experienced just how badly the move could go, it was shelved. It was only after more than a decade, during the pandemic, that Orton was allowed to bring it back.
Yeah, I do recall it. I believe at that moment with when Christian came back and he lost and he barely even did anything. I think he had who low-blowed Christian. I think it was Ric Flair. I don't remember. I have to rewatch this because I don't even like the pandemic era like that. But I mean, pandemic era it was okay because Roman Reigns and all that. But that was 10 moves banned by WWE. Tell me what you guys want to see next in the comments down below. I got more videos coming. Stay tuned. Subscribe, like, comment, and yeah, Uriah out.